Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Short Play, a series of quick tours of games I like on a variety of platforms, new and old. Today's game is Dead Rising. This was a 2006 release from Capcom, developed by the company's internal Capcom's Production Studio 1, with Keiji Inafune as producer. This game blends open world, survival horror and beat 'em up gameplay into a distinctive whole, and it was quite a well known game back in its original day, but has fallen a little bit off the radar in previous years, although it has had a couple of re-releases and sequels. Now, the interesting thing about this game's history is that George Romero actually pursued legal action against Capcom due to the game's resemblance to his movie Dawn of the Dead. But Judge Richard J. Seaborg agreed with Capcom's assertion that, quote, "the concept of humans battling zombies in a mall during a zombie outbreak is a wholly unprotectable concept." So there you go. And in fact, if you look at the packaging, there's a little disclaimer down at the bottom that says this is nothing to do with Dawn of the Dead, so don't sue us anymore, please. Thank you very much. So the one noteworthy thing about this game from a game design perspective is its unusual save system, which we'll talk a bit about once we're actually into the gameplay. But basically what it does is it brings the idea of New Game Plus to even people who haven't finished the game. So at any point you can basically restart the game, carry over all your stuff and start again with a more powerful character. And a lot of people didn't quite get their head around that at its time of original release, but from a modern perspective, this actually works rather well. And I've been enjoying engaging with the game using that system since I've started exploring this game. So let's go from the beginning of Dead Rising with my level, whatever he is now, 20 something character, Frank West. He's covered wars, you know. Let's go play Dead Rising. Okay, here we are with Dead Rising from Capcom. This is the original Xbox 360 version, so you get to enjoy it in all its screen-tearing-tastic glory, as this was from 2006, did I say? Certainly quite a long time ago. Anyway, it was from an era before people understood what VSync was, apparently. But let's not hold that against it. Right. As you can see down in the bottom right corner, I am level 28. But I've died and fucked this up a few times, so I'm in a position where we start again from the beginning. Excuse me. Got the hiccups. Anyway, yeah, so I'm in a position where we start again from the beginning, but I've got a level 28 Frank West, which is a good opportunity to show you how this all unfolds right from the beginning, and give you an overview of what to expect from your first few hours with Dead Rising. So this is a game that a lot of people might be familiar with already, especially because it's had some re-releases, but it's also one that doesn't get talked about a whole bunch because some of the later installments weren't quite as well received. But it's nice to go back to this one. This was an important game for the Xbox 360. And an important one for Capcom as well. This is one of the ones that really brought Capcom into what was then the next generation, as it were. Frank is in one of his DLC costumes. Which I think was free. I don't think I paid for that.
Say, buddy, you mentioned something about research for a story.
That's right. Got a tip that something big's happening.
In a nowhere little town like that? They sure didn't mention anything about it on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm freelance, pal. I don't make my living waiting for the TV to tell me what to cover.
So, when I originally played this, it was quite early in my time owning an Xbox 360, and I was
Here she is.
and I was playing it on a CRT, a standard definition CRT, because this was still the very early days of HD, and only a few people I knew had HD televisions.
About the only thing to do in this town is kill time at the shopping mall.
I'll stop talking over them. But, yeah, one of the interesting things about this game is that it was always designed for HD televisions, and so when it first released, a lot of people found the text way too small on standard definition televisions. So they actually had to patch it to make the text bigger in the subtitles, so people could actually read it.
All right, listen. I want to get shots of the whole town before the National Guard finishes roping it off. Take me over the main street.
That's what Frank's supposed to look like. So, this initial section here, you can actually skip altogether if you want. Which is nice, especially on your subsequent playthroughs. Because it does take a little while to get through. But it's also quite a nice showcase of what this game is doing. So, it's sort of showing off these big, expansive environments. And the fact that there's lots of stuff on screen at once. And it also gives you a chance to fiddle around with the photography mechanics as well, which by no means a sort of critical part of the game, but they can be quite helpful.
Is this what you came to take pictures of?
Sure is.
So, one of the things you can do in this game, you'll notice I'm getting points for all these pictures, and they translate to prestige points, or PP, which are basically experience points. So the more of those you get, the more you can level up Frank. And you'll see that certain things will get you more points, and they'll give you coloured circles.
Whatever's going on down there, it's not business as usual in this town.
So your photos get rated not only for content, but also genre as well. So red stuff is brutality, I think. Orange is drama. Pink is erotica, which is basically pictures of tits and thighs, much as it is today. What else is there? I guess horror as well, which is different from brutality because it's just stuff that's just scary rather than necessarily violent. And possibly some others as well.
Holy shit! Did you see that?
Yeah, I got 1,000 points for that, for timing that perfectly, because I happened to know it was coming. So you don't get to explore the whole town in this game. It's all set within the shopping mall. I think Dead Rising 2 unfolds over a much larger area.
We have to check out that building. Where? Right below us.
So this is sort of, I guess, a teaser of where the series would end up going. Dead Rising 3 certainly got a whole town, I think. But also a lot of people don't like Dead Rising 3 very much because it's much bleaker and darker than this one. Despite appearances, this is a game with a lot of humour to it and a lot of silliness. Whereas Dead Rising 3, a lot of people kind of feel like it lost that side of things. Which is a bit of a shame, but even so, I haven't actually played Dead Rising. I've only seen a couple of videos of it online. Game Grumps played it a little while back, and didn't get that far, and they kind of aborted the series as well. So I guess it was not super popular with the fans or whatever. But they played through both Dead Rising and Dead Rising 2. But the difference is very obvious. I haven't played Dead Rising 2 yet. I want to actually sort of finish this for myself first before I move on to that one. I've got a good feel for how this game works now. I just haven't actually successfully completed it yet.
You gotta be kidding me. Man, you are nuts.
All right, listen. Don't forget to come back for me.
As long as you're not dead, Fred.
It's Frank. Frank West. Remember that name, because the whole world's gonna know it in 3 days when I get to see it.
All right.
Whoa! Shit! Get us back down to that rooftop!
I know I'm gonna get my butt chewed out for this one.
I remember this being really impressive to me and my friends at the time for the how detailed the skin texture seemed to be. So like anytime you get a close-up of a character's face, you can see the pores in their skin and that sort of thing, and that was absolutely gobsmacking to us back in the day. Obviously, this looks a little bit more dated now than it did back then.
There. Huh? You're the reporter, aren't you?
Yeah.
But in, what, 2006 or whatever this was,
Came alone.
surprisingly impressive.
Yeah.
Well, not surprisingly
I'm
impressive, it
freelance.
just was impressive
You know,
at the time.
Go on the battlefield alone. No crew. So, what's going on around here anyway?
You came by helicopter, didn't you? What did you see from the sky?
Well, if it were just a riot, I doubt the military would quarantine the entire area. The moratorium on information getting out is a little extreme, in my opinion. There's, something else I can't put my finger on. Doesn't sound like civil disobedience. It's too quiet.
Almost as if everyone's already dead.
Yeah. So why don't you just tell me already? What's going on?
I think you'd better see for yourself. This, my friend, is hell.
Yeah, that was gobsmacking back in the day. And I think Capcom knew that as well, which is why you have so many sort of extreme close-ups of people's faces in this game. Right, let's begin. Frank must be in the heliport at 12 PM on the 22nd, or he will be left behind in the mall. Pay careful attention to the time as you play. So yes, this game doesn't unfold in real time, it's accelerated time, but you still have to pay attention to the time. Because you can indeed be left behind.
What in the world?
It's zombies, Frank. You know this. You've been through this several times already. Right. Let's go start this nonsense off properly. I just found the way Frank runs quite interesting in this, because it almost looks like he's sort of limping a little bit. And as the famous line from this game goes, he's covered wars, you know. The way he runs sort of implies that he got injured in one of those wars. Not sure if we actually hear about that explicitly in the game, but it's just an interesting little character touch that's you can find in this game.
Hey, bring that over here. Quit screwing around.
Have you seen my baby? I can't live without my precious little sweetie doggy. Oh, where is my Madonna? Where is she? Oh.
As has frequently been pointed out, the entire situation in this game is that old lady's fault. As you will see in just a moment.
Hey, this is no time to ogle pretty girls, son. You looking to get yourself eaten alive by zombies?
What? Did you just say zombies?
Take a look out there. If those ain't zombies, what would you call them?
They said the Z word.
There's been more and more of them since last night. Now, they're all that's out there. Look on the bright side. Zombies are stupid and slow. We should be safe in here. All right,
Or will we?
Feel like making yourself useful? Take a look around the mall. Bring anything we can use for the barricade back here. Andale! Come on, pronto!
Right, at this point, if you want to, you can take some photos of the survivors and get a few points for them. But we're just going to move things along. What should do by just wandering over here. Excuse me.
You! Stop right there! Do you have any idea what you've done? Why did you summon me to this place? What are you planning?
Would you calm down? I don't even know what you're talking about. What the...
Again, on subsequent playthroughs, you can skip all this stuff at the beginning and get pretty much straight into the action.
What are you thinking?
Lift it off!
I'm saving you, baby! Wait for me, sweetie!
Wait for me, my low poly dog. See? All her fault. All her fault.
What in the hell are you people doing? Run! Quick, move! Get over here! Everyone, move this way! Quick, to the stairs! Move!
You should pay attention to him. Because everyone here is about to die. And you can't save them. Nope. However hard you try, you cannot save these people. So you just have to leave them to it. And, well, it's their own problem. A lot of loading in this game, but fortunately none of the loading breaks are too long, which is nice. You can also install it to your Xbox hard drive if you want to as well.
Where are the others?
I don't know. I hope they got away.
As long as those things are in the mall, we'd better not use this door.
What are you doing?
The air ducts. They'll get us back into the mall, and apparently those things aren't smart enough to use the ducts. so they won't be a factor.
Wait a minute. You want to get back in there? What for? Hey.
Nice camera. Are you a photographer?
As a matter of fact, I am. Frank West, photojournalist.
Could you show me some pictures, Frank?
Bum.
You really seem to know what you're doing. Who are you guys, anyway? And what are you...
So, I mean, we've talked about how this game does not bear any resemblance to Dawn of the Dead. Absolutely, positively, definitely not. But it pays homage to a lot of kind of classic horror tropes.
Nope. Thanks for showing me, though.
Particularly the sort of heavy sexualization of the female
we're not
lead.
done talking yet. Just who are you guys?
I'm Jesse. The man you saw earlier is Brad. That's all I'm authorized to tell you.
Alright, so we are now into the game proper. So from this point on, you're kind of free to do what you want, really. But there is a sequence of events that are worth following. There's a series of case files that if you want to get the game's best ending, you have to follow all of the case files. And they're all time sensitive as well. So what you actually have to do is prioritize those above other survivors if you want that particular ending. And it's worth going for that particular ending at least once, because that unlocks some additional content in the game. It unlocks overtime mode, first of all, which is an additional 24-hour period where there's some additional stuff to do. And then if you beat overtime mode, there's what's called infinity mode, which is a narrative-free mode where you just have to survive for as long as possible.
Hey, anybody around?
But there are, I think, 4 other endings as well that aren't dependent on you completing the story. There's one where you just survive until the end of the time period and escape with the rest of the survivors. There's some where you get captured by various groups and the time limit expires. There's one where you miss the deadline, basically. And a couple of others, I think.
Fantastic.
Right, when there's a PP mark like that, that means that's a sort of limited time opportunity to take a photo that's worth a lot of points. And it's called a PP sticker. It needs to be completely in the shot for you to get it. So I could have got one for both Natalie and Jeff there, but unfortunately I missed one of them because I was a little bit too close. And you see, we've earned enough PP to level up to level 29 there.
Come on.
When you level up, one of several things happens. So if we have a quick look at the status screen. So just one thing increases when you level up. Your attack can increase, your speed can increase, your life can increase, your item stock can increase, which is the number of things you can carry at once, and your throw distance can increase. Or you can unlock a skill. So just one of those things happens. So you're not necessarily going to get stronger with every level up, but you will with quite a few of them. A lot of them will give you access to these moves, though. So a lot of these are ways of escaping from being grabbed by zombies. Press X while clicking left stick. Lift up. What was the one we just unlocked? The suplex. Grab your opponent and send them flying. Facing a standing enemy's back, simultaneously press X and A without pressing the left stick. So we'll have to try that. So a lot of these moves are very helpful when you're unarmed. because there's a lot of different weapons you can acquire in this game. You sort of improvise weaponry from anything that's lying around, but there's also like a durability system. So weapons will break after a while. So there's certain situations where you'll find yourself without a weapon, and so using some of those skills can be a good way of doing damage just using your fists and feet. But as you can see, there's items lying around all over the place, including some silly ones like the soccer ball, which is useless but fun. And so Otis the janitor stays in touch with you via that transceiver. And he gives you information about the mole. He also gives you scoop hints as well, which are survivors that he spotted on the monitors in the security room. And those are sort of the side quests and survivors that you can go and rescue for big PP rewards. Big PP rewards. But they are all time limited, and also, as I say, you have to bear in mind that there is the time limit on the main scenario as well. And the main scenario can expire.
Zombies, huh? Had a feeling you'd show up. God, it's you. Look, don't sneak up on me.
Brad was attacked. I located him on the monitor. Ugh!
It's probably just a sprain.
I've got to help Brad, or he's done for.
All right, fine. Give me your gun. Come on. I'm the reason you just got hurt. Let me help.
No, I can't let a civilian do that. That's against regulations.
Yeah, well, I don't think they had zombie-infested malls in mind when they wrote those regulations, kid.
You know how to use this?
Kinda. I've covered wars, you know.
There it is. That's the line. That's the line everyone knows from this game.
Look, after I'm through helping you, you and I are gonna have a nice little chat.
Right. So, here's the case list. You can check that at any time, and it will give you an idea of where things are, when you're going to need to be available, and how much there is to do in total. So you can see it spans the entire 3-day period. So there's not actually that much in the way of main missions in this game. You can actually beat it relatively quickly. But it's so easy to get distracted by other stuff, particularly when there's sort of valuable and helpful rewards on offer. Which are often well worth engaging with. Oh, let's try a suplex. Nice. This place is really helpful to know about because there's an infinite supply of orange juice here. And orange juice is a rather nice healing item. There's also a respawning katana here, which is very useful to know about. And if we go over here, and head on over here. Oops! Oh god. Hate doing this a little bit here. It's so fiddly to stay on with, because this is not a platformer. If that wasn't already very apparent. Alright, we need to actually go along there and sort of jump. And that lets you stay on. So, helpful orange juice for us there. A couple more of those little jumps we need to make. Oh. Jeez. Bollocks. I'm sod it. There's a machine gun up there. So I'm not going to waste any more time looking for it. Now, you'll notice I'm not killing any zombies. And the reason for that is, partly, as they say, your weapons will break after a while, so it's worth considering whether you really need to kill a zombie. And also, it just wastes time. The zombies are a threat, yes. But they're mostly there to get in the way and slow you down. So, that backup for Brad mission over on the right, you can see there's a blue bar behind it. That shows how much time you've got to accomplish that mission. Which is loads at the beginning of the game, so you don't need to rush into doing that at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and do something that is very helpful for later in the game, right now. And several of the things I've done already, you'll notice these are things that I will have just learned in previous playthroughs. And this is why the New Game Plus thing in this game works really well. Because anytime you fuck up, you can just save your status and start again. And that means you can go straight for the things that are useful. You can go and collect items that are useful that you didn't know where they were before. You can go and kill enemies. You can go and find useful weapons. You can go on zombie killing sprees like this. Just going to grab this truck because it's a little bit stronger than the car. Lasts a little bit longer. Because yes, vehicles have durability as well, and they don't last for very long in this game. So while you can kill a shitload of zombies in a very short space of time using a vehicle, you will also want to sort of get where you're going quickly. Right, so I've got the maintenance tunnel key there. This allows us to make use of this network of tunnels beneath the mall as a series of shortcuts, basically. Which is very helpful. It's not so useful when you are dragging survivors around with you, because as you can see there are hundreds of zombies down here. And so it's generally a very bad idea to bring survivors down here, because the survivors are really stupid. And when you confront them with that many zombies, they tend to have a bit of trouble. But if you just need to get somewhere quickly, that's a good way of doing it. Right, so now we can go and help out Brad. He is in this part of the mall over here. So we'll just clean up this mess of zombies by the door, just to make it a little bit safer to get in. Leave that van there. Admire our handiwork. And head on in.
Your, girlfriend sent me to find you.
Who? Jesse? Damn it! Okay, we'll have to talk about this later. You know how to use that gun?
I've never fired at a person.
All right, I'll cover you from here. You need to stick to the shadows. Try to get close to the target, okay?
And what am I supposed to do when I get close?
Well, the best solution would be to shoot the guy. But if you can't do that, keep him busy dodging your bullets and stay out of trouble. Are you up to it?
I'm a lot better with a camera. But yeah, I'll give it a shot.
All right. Next time he reloads, I'll lay down a suppressing fire. I'm counting on you. Make your way over there.
Frank's actually quite a cool character that is explored in a few different ways in this game. So I like the way that he's all tough guy in front of Jesse because he wants to be the big man. But as soon as he's confronted with the situation, where he might have to actually put himself in danger or shoot a person. Shut up, Otis. Ooh, excuse me. Yes, very good, thank you. Wrong button. So, these fights in Dead Rising, these are referred to as Psychopath Fights. So all the bosses in the game are humans rather than zombies. And the first time you encounter these fights, they seem really, really difficult. But most of them are heavily, heavily pattern-based. Sort of classic Capcom, if you like. So as long as you can spot the patterns and understand what the enemies are doing and how to deal with them and how to counter them, and a good place to position yourself and that sort of thing. He's gone over there. Then you can defeat them without taking too much damage yourself. Taking damage isn't a bit of an inevitable part of this game, though, which is why there's so many healing items around. So compared to a lot of survival horror games, this game is very generous with the healing items. But the main difficulty you might have is the limited inventory space. There we are, all done. So your inventory space is shared between your weapons and your healing items. So you need to prioritize what you need to carry around with you. And especially early in the game where you don't have access to too many of those special hand-to-hand moves.
I don't know.
You need to make sure that you've got weapons on hand.
Well, thanks for your help. The name's Brad.
I'm Frank West, photojournalist. And right now, I'd rather have an explanation than your thanks, Brad.
Sorry, I've got nothing to tell you.
Is that right?
Look, I don't know what Jesse told you, but as far as I'm concerned, we're through working together. So you cover your zombie story and leave the rest to us.
You guys are looking for someone here, aren't you?
Who is that? Where did you take it?
You help me, I help you.
I do like Frank. He's a dick, but you can't help but like him. So there was some effort put into his character.
You're one hell of a journalist, aren't you, Frank? A hot-headed, underhanded, hotshot paparazzi with nothing better to do than to invade people's privacy.
I try. You got a point?
You win, Frank. Let's work together. Jesse and I are DHS agents. And yes, we are looking for the man in that picture.
You're with Homeland Security. Is that guy a terrorist or something? I took that picture in the entrance plaza. Right near the front door.
The entrance plaza. You're sure?
Hey! So do I have your permission to cover this story? Or not?
So unfair. Alright, let's heal up with a baguette. Nom 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 nom. I'm going to drop that gun because it's not going to do much good with 2 bullets. Also, guns in this are surprisingly ineffective. Aside from the submachine gun is very good. Oh yeah, Chris Fine Foods. There's also Jill sandwiches in here, so Capcom are very much poking fun at themselves in this game. Lots of little homages and references to Resident Evil. Need to clear a path for Brad. He's not super bright. Though he is a bit better than most survivors, in that he knows how to handle a gun. One thing I am going to do, I'm going to hop in this fountain and get a submachine gun! Hooray! That's something you want to save for when you really need it. Basically, it's most useful for the bosses. So it's not really worth wasting on standard zombies. Although it's fun. And that machine gun does respawn as well. So if you do decide to use it on a horde of zombies, you can just go back and get another one. Of course, by the time you get back, the horde of zombies will be back. But, you know, it's fun. If you just want to get your kill count up a bit. There are several achievements that relate to your kill count. And I believe there's some unlockable weapons and stuff that relate to the kill count as well. So if you want to unlock certain things, then you might just want to find an efficient way of killing things. But as I say, guns are not necessarily the best way to do that.
Sir, if you could just kindly come with us, we can wrap this whole thing up.
No, I'm not leaving until you can
Absolutely,
guarantee
sir.
me
If
safe
you
passage
just open
to
this
these...
gate. Just open this gate. It's for your protection. Just
I am not
let us-
opening any gate. Thank you very much. I'm going to stay right here.
Dr.
when
Barnaby.
It's safe.
Sir.
Thank you and goodbye.
Dr. Barnaby?
Goodbye.
Well, what happened? You can't just arrest him?
He turned down my offer to protect him. Said he isn't going anywhere until I can guarantee a secure route out of here. Jesse has a direct line to HQ. The first thing we need to do is to call for backup.
This piece of music you can hear in the background here. This is one of those pieces of music that has stuck with me for absolutely years. Like, I didn't play Dead Rising between like 2006 and this year, basically. But that bit of music playing in the background has stuck with me for that long. Oh, it's so silly. So silly. Brad has just fucked off, you'll notice. So, once again, you are back to doing pretty much whatever you want right now. So we can either go and proceed the story, or you can seek out some of the things that Otis has been telling you about in the meantime. So if you bring up your watch, you can see the other scoop cues, as they are referred to. And the arrow at the top of the screen will direct you, not necessarily the best route, but the route that's sort of closest to where you are. So we'll head back this way. We're coming in on 45 minutes now. Let's do just a bit more of this game, give you an idea of how it all works, and then we'll call it a day. But yeah, I've been enjoying this game, and I've been enjoying the sense of power creep that comes from leveling up. Because often the effect of the level ups feels quite subtle to begin with. But there are a couple of ways in which you feel a sudden and drastic increase in power. And one of those is the speed category. So when you first start playing this game, Frank moves at half this speed. Literally half this speed. It feels painfully slow. But the first time you get a speed level up, it's an enormous relief because you can get around much quicker. And also escape from danger much more easily. And there's a second speed upgrade on top of that as well. I'm curious to see how much that causes you to increase in speed and how much faster you move with that. But that makes a huge difference. The attack power increase is a little bit more subtle, but it does make a noticeable difference, especially against the bosses. So when you get captured by multiple zombies at once, you have those sort of quick time commands to do. And if you don't fulfill them, then you will take more damage. Right, so we've got a little side quest to do over here with this character, Kent, who is a twat. I hate this guy so much. But it's okay, because, spoiler, you get to kill him later, so... I remember some people being quite put out when this came out that the game wasn't fully voiced. But that was actually nothing unusual for this period, because although DVDs could hold a lot of information, there was still a limit to how much you could put on there, so... And also, presumably, how much that Capcom were willing to spend on voice acting and so on. And there's like a decent amount of cutscenes in this game as well, so... It just sort of highlights the difference between the important story moments, which have cutscenes, and the side quests, which tend to be delivered through text dialogue like this. Alright, so we need to take a picture of Kent while he is taking a photograph. Just like that. There we go.
Perfect.
This one is annoying because you have to capture him while he's doing his pose. There we go.
Fantastic.
Oh, first time. Nice.
Great shot.
Often he runs off at the start of that challenge there and goes like right into the middle of a horde of zombies, which makes it much easier to miss what he's doing because you've got to deal with zombies as well.
Okay, I suppose.
That ain't half bad. Okay, here comes the next one, Frankie. But first, feast your eyes on my work. Now this is my most emotionally moving shot. Now this is my sexiest shot. Okay. This is my most violent shot. Check it out. Okay, here's the deal, Frankie. You gotta go out there and take even better pictures than the ones I just showed you. You think you can handle that, huh?
Yeah.
With that character in particular, the sort of way that the cutscenes get really up in your face in this is quite effective, because Kent is such an odious character that sort of the game really making a point of thrusting him in your face like that is horrible, but enormously effective. Right. Let's go advance the plot. Actually, let's get a change of clothes first. Here we are. There's some kids' clothes. There are Mega Man Servbot heads lying around the place as well, so you can spend the entire game dressed up as a Servbot if you want to. There's also like demon masks and all sorts of things. So a big part of this game is just pissing around in the shops and getting new costumes for Frank and making him look stupid. Because he continues to look stupid in the cutscenes, which is a delight. Oh no, zombies! Now, so far as the combat goes in this, there's obviously a lot of beat-em-up DNA in this, but with a lot more in the way of characters on screen at once than there is in your typical beat-up. And it's not encounter-based as well. It's closer to something like, say, a Warriors game or something like that, in that you're sort of moving through an environment and there happen to be clusters of enemies in there. But it's still got that cool beat-em-up feel of understanding your moves, understanding reach, and managing space as well. So managing space is super important in this, because Frank is fairly fragile, especially when you start the game. And so, while some weapons do allow you to wade into the middle of a horde of zombies and not take too much damage, in most cases you want to kind of start at the periphery and work your way through the middle, if you have to go through them at all. More often than not, it's actually worth just making your way round them rather than trying to go through them.
So that's what Dr. Barnaby said, huh?
The old coot's not dumb. He wants us to call for help first. We gotta line out or what?
The signal's being blocked. I can't even contact HQ on the emergency line.
Look at Frank's
So,
hairy thighs.
We want to get our hands on Dr.
And
Barnaby.
his little treasure
We're gonna have
trail.
to secure a way out of here ourselves. All right, we've got to deal with the situation we've been handed. The boneheads back at HQ might be working on something too.
There's a helicopter
Dick.
coming. 3 days from now.
Kidding, that's so
At
horrible.
noon. It's my ride.
Is your ride reliable?
Absolutely. That's how I plan on getting out of here.
All right then. I'll see to it that the DHS picks up the charter fee. Can we take Dr. Barnaby as well?
Sure. As long as you tell me what's going on.
Okay. I'll tell you what you want to know. Later. We have more pressing business right now. If we have to wait here for 3 days, we'll need supplies. Water, blankets and the like. We'll get Dr. Barnaby here tomorrow morning. I want you to keep an eye on the monitors.
Okay, so at this point, we've reached a stage in the game where the next major story moment doesn't occur until quite a way down the line, and you notice that the time tracker on the right hand side has gone transparent to reflect that. So these are good points to save, because these are points where you are kind of free to go off and do your own thing for a few hours. This is a good opportunity to go and rescue some survivors, which will give you a big PP bonus. And from there, you can just sort of try and collect all the survivors, basically, discover the mall, find out where new weapons are, defeat some of the psychopaths and bosses, which are also worth a big PP bonus. But yeah, there's a lot to do in this game, and it's well worth replaying. And while a lot of people had a lot of unpleasant things to say about the save system in this, I really like it because it encourages you to really get to know the game and understand it and learn where everything is and the most efficient way of accomplishing various objectives. It really kind of forces you to appreciate how well this game has been designed in a lot of ways, and how the mechanics and the structure all intertwine with each other to make something that's really a lot more interesting than it might initially appear to be. It's much more than a simple game where you just sort of hack and slash or shoot your way through a bunch of zombies. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in this game. Alright, coming in on an hour, so I think this is probably as good a place as any to finish, since we've basically completed the first episode of the story there. So we'll leave that there for now. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Bleh.